Hi everyone and welcome to a review of this miniature food kit. These mini sweets are really viral in China but almost unheard of outside the country. I'll also show you how to turn a few of these into tiny taba squishies. I ordered this kit from Xiaohongshu and it cost 59 yuan, which is around $8 and less than the price of one Miniverse ball. However, it gives you enough material to make 18 adorable miniature crafts. It's made by a company called Mr. Toys, and they also produce the taba squishy kits that I reviewed in my last video. I find it really interesting because there's significant differences compared to Western DIY kits, and you guys can help me decide which is better. Of course, most people know the tiny food trend from MGA's Miniverse series. I love Miniverse, but one big drawback of their products is that all the kits contain uncured UV resin. This is not directly toxic, but it can trigger serious allergic reactions, with some issues only appearing after repeated contact. Within the resin community, it's common knowledge that you shouldn't touch this with bare skin. However, this is never mentioned in the Miniverse instructions, and it's virtually impossible to build any of these without getting some resin onto your hands. The odd thing is that I'm sure they're aware of this issue because they came out with the Appliances series that's clearly designed to eliminate skin contact with the resin. A previous product from MGA, which I featured in this video, also went into extreme lengths to prevent users from having skin contact with uncured polymers. But Smooshins had so many safety measures that I believe it ultimately affected the success of the product. What I find interesting about this Chinese kit is that they completely skip the need for resin-like materials. Instead, the crafting part focuses heavily on papercrafts and classic deco techniques like air-dry clay and fake sprinkles. So inside the box you get a tube of fake chocolate sauce, 3 packets of paper clay, a bag of charms and decorations, a roll of double-sided tape, some tweezers, 2 bottles, 8 taba squishy bags, and a lot of printed cards. The instructions are quite basic for such a complex kit, and I think that they're assuming you can figure out a lot by yourself. They don't give you reference images for all 18 miniatures, which is kind of good and bad because it forces you to work more independently and be creative with the materials that you're given. The strength in this kit really lies in how well the graphics are made. The attention to detail on the packaging is amazing. Everything is printed onto sturdy cardstock with perforated edges that you can just pop out without cutting. You also get 2 sheets of plastic film to create more realistic looking packaging and a roll of thin double-sided tape. The combination of all this makes the Papercraft part of this kit extremely enjoyable and easy to do. The majority of craft kits I've come across always expect you to stick things together with craft glue, which is obviously messy and time-consuming. This thin transparent double-sided tape gives you instant and perfect looking results. As you'll have noticed, the sweets you get to fill inside are perfectly color coordinated with the packaging. This is such a satisfying DIY without the use of any fancy materials or gimmicks. I find the easiest way to close the opening is to use 2 small segments of double-sided tape. This looks better than just using one piece and trying to poke through the hole. Another thing is to arrange your candy pieces in a position you like before closing it up. Once sealed, it's impossible to open this again without ripping the paper, so make sure you like the way it looks. The next DIY is by far the easiest one in the kit. This just involves filling some strawberries into a jar. I like how the kit is quite economical and expects you to use up every bit of material supplied. In this case, you have to separate the beads from each other and only use the pastel ones first. These look suspiciously similar to aqua beads, although I forgot to spray water onto them to test it out. For the next piece, I'm going to deviate a bit from their instructions. You get these cute charms that look like waffles and fish pancakes, and you're supposed to DIY the paper part of the packaging. However, these bags remind me so much of taba squishies that I want to see if I can turn them into real tabas. To do so, I have to create a mold of each shape. In my previous video, I mentioned that taba squishy molds have to be very soft and flexible, and that this type of silicone putty isn't suitable. But in this case, the pieces are so small and flat that I think it could work. I'm starting with a ball of silicone putty and then pressing the charm straight downwards while applying gentle pressure around the sides. I also like to push it up very slightly so that the putty forms a slight curve around the piece that's being molded. This ensures that you get a clean impression of the upper edge, and it makes it easier to add resin or silicone later on. I left these for about 20 minutes to cure and was pleased to see that the molds picked up every detail perfectly. Now I'm going to grease the inside really well with Vaseline. This will help with demolding without having to turn the mold inside out. I'm also making sure that there aren't any solid lumps of Vaseline, otherwise that could displace the silicone and you end up with small holes in the final squishy. I'm going to use this squishy gel that I got from Xiaohongshu. I only need a very small amount because these molds are tiny. I noticed that both the fish and the waffle have a very similar base color, so I'm going to mix up a yellowish orange shade using oil-based silicone pigment. Then I'm pouring it inside and taking care not to waste a single drop. I only made 6 grams of silicone, and that was enough for all 5 tabas. This is a great example of a project where you barely need any materials to create something very cute and impressive. These cured pretty quickly, and I was very happy to see that they came out of the mold without any problems. The flat and relatively smooth shape means that you can take it out without anything sticking or ripping. So if you intend to make very small taba squishies, then this type of silicone putty should work just fine for molds. This has a super satisfying texture, but like all tabas, it's quite sticky. For the next step, I'm going to use soft pastel dust. This is a good alternative to cornstarch or flocking because it reduces the stickiness whilst adding some shading and color. I'm simply shaving off some dust using a pair of scissors and then applying it with a brush. This process is slightly trickier compared to working with clay because the pigment sticks immediately without a lot of room for blending. It's like trying to apply eyeshadow onto skin that's already covered with lip gloss. However, this turned out great, and I think it looks exactly like a real waffle. The hardest part of making a taba is actually trying to get it into the bag. Especially if it hasn't been flocked, the squishy sticks really easily to the plastic and it's hard to get them into the position that you want. Even for something this tiny, I have to fiddle around for ages with tweezers. I would usually do this part underwater, but in this specific case, I don't want to risk any of the pigment washing off. The final step is just adding 2 strips of double-sided tape and then attaching the card. Taba cards are normally stapled into place, but this one is obviously too small for that. I think it might not be a bad idea to use double-sided tape for larger tabas as well, because it gives people more freedom if they want to open the packaging to play with it. I've never opened any of my tabas just because I feel too bad about ripping the staples. The next DIY is incredibly easy, and you just need to transfer these cheese slices into the bag. I've never seen cheese packaged like this, but it looks pretty cute nonetheless. The cookie one is also very simple to make, with a slightly amusing English title. Now I realize that the black balls from earlier are supposed to be used for the coffee bean DIY. Once again, a super cute idea, and it's a nice way of using up everything from the kit. Next up, we're going to make some boxes of cakes. The die-cut shape for these are identical to real cake boxes, so they look super realistic. First, you need to stick the plastic inside to create windows. Use very small pieces of double-sided tape for this. Then fold everything together and attach more tape onto the tab on the end. When closing the box, make sure the flaps are slotted in the right way, otherwise the cakes might fall out. The other box is done in exactly the same way, and you should end up with something like this. Now it's time for some clay crafting. I'm pretty confused why the kit gives you blue paper clay. Out of all the colors related to desserts, this is probably the last one I'd imagine you need, but we just have to go with it. There's some basic instructions in the booklet for this, and the first one is to roll out 2 flat pieces of clay. Then stack them on top of each other and roll again to create a cinnamon bun or Swiss roll design. Repeat this with the brown clay as well. I'm really not a fan of this blue shade, so I'm mixing it with some white clay to make it a bit more aesthetic, and then creating some very simple bun shapes. Then I'm frosting it with a fake chocolate sauce. This is a classic decadent sauce that's basically tinted PVA glue, and it's entirely non-toxic. It's not UV resin like the sauce from Miniverse kits. And unlike UV resin, this one even smells like chocolate, which is a nice little detail. The kit gives you a bag of rainbow sprinkles, and I'm going to separate these out to create more unique looking designs. For the first 2, I'm only going to use the straight sprinkles. If you really wanted to, you could even sort them by color to create more variations. For the blue cakes, I'm going to use the round ones as well. I discovered here that too many sprinkles might become too heavy for the frosting and they'll start to slide off. This can get a bit messy, so it's best to use less at first. Then I'm going to decorate the roll cakes in the same way and leave them overnight to dry. In the meantime, I'll make the bread box DIY. The Papercraft part is very similar to the cake box and not very difficult. You just create a window using the plastic and the two boxes should slide together. I use the leftover brown clay to make two very simple loaves of bread. These are going into the second bread box that has a more rustic feel to it. I noticed that the clay pieces tend to slide around, so I added 2 strips of double-sided tape to the center. Then I stuck the 4 cakes onto this so they're always nicely visible through the window. The other cake box is a bit easier because the items don't move around as much. Once you place them inside, you can carefully fold the tabs of the handle together. This one can be closed up without using any tape, just like a real dessert box. The final few DIYs all repeat the previous techniques. There's this cute taba style one with ice cream charms. I noticed that the reference pictures sometimes showed slightly different things, so it's possible that these kits don't always contain the same decorations. Then there's a candy-themed taba that doesn't seem to have any corresponding charms, so I'm guessing that I'm supposed to use the leftover sprinkles for this. The very last DIY is this one, and I couldn't find any reference image for it. Based on the illustration, I think you're supposed to make something from the brown clay, but unfortunately my piece had already dried up by this point. So I decided to skip this one because honestly I was a bit tired of making all of these by now, and I think we agree that this kit already gives you more than enough. So here are all the pieces I ended up with. There are 2 trays of bread and donuts, 2 boxes of cakes, 2 bottles of candy, 4 packets of jellies and gummies, 5 bags of various foods, and the final 2 which I decided to turn into taba squishies. As mentioned before, all of these cost less than a single Miniverse, which is pretty insane. But I do like the blind box concept of Miniverse, and I think it would have been nice if this kit had a surprise product or some kind of secret item inside. I'm Joanna, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!